first and foremost, we thank the Creator for giving us another day of life. Despite what's going on in your life, despite your struggles, despite your situation, it's a blessing to have life. There were some people who had plans of waking up today, and they did not. There were some people who said that they were going to watch the inauguration today, but there were different plans for their lives. So for you and I to still be here, despite your tuition troubles, it's a blessing to be here. I want to say thank you so much to the President, my President Davis and his lovely wife, and a happy belated Founders Day to Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And I have to say what's going on to my sorors, if I have any sorors in here as well. And to my brothers of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated, to have the opportunity to speak here at the oldest university in Ohio and one of the oldest chapters of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated. It is truly an honor and a blessing. And I thank you so much. And I didn't get this young lady's name right here, but Allison, she's doing an amazing job, really. She's had the toughest job here. She's had the toughest job here today. And I just want to acknowledge her and this great band and ABCD. You all were amazing. Oh my goodness. It really touched me to see you all do what you do. I lived a year longer than Tupac, but still got 11 years to go before I reach Mecca Heavens. I lived 12 years longer than Emmett Till, but that don't make me feel better. 13 years to go before I reach Malcolm and MLK, 20 years to go before I reach JFK. 16 years to go before I reach my mother's death age. 25 years to go before I reach my grandmother's death stage, but I'm sometimes afraid. Not that I'll die. I'm afraid I want to achieve the goals that I sent to the sky. Tears come from my eyes to water the earth. 28 years ago was my birth, and we both cried, me and my mother, because we both hurt. Her from pushing, me from leaving what I knew first. See, you called the dark, but I called the light. You say I was alone, but I was quite all right. I'm a little past the speed limit. Sometimes things are clear, other times it seems tinted. I'm not an owner, I'm only a tenant. I know it's been some years, but it seems like it's been only a minute. And I don't know if I have a second or a minute until I'm finished. I just know I'm going to enjoy it while I'm in it. And when I return for questions to the one who already knows the answer, but I have questions too, God, and why my mother had to die from cancer. But it's a blessing. At least she died a martyr. She's in heaven now. This is reality. No magic, no Harry Potter. She was a farmer, planted seeds in her garden. The toughness of life never made her heart hard, and she was softer than a butterfly. I would cry because she cried. And if I had a choice, I would have died because she died. As you can tell, I'm still in pain. 28 years old, but I'm still the same baby that she raised into a man. My mother's gone, but still here. Something I'm still trying to understand. If you want to understand my birth, you have to understand my earth. And if you look closely, you can see my heart beating through my shirt. We must ask ourselves the question, what's worse? Living like a jerk, or living with a purpose before we reach the hearse? Some people search for God into the masjid or the church, or reading the Quran, or reading the Bible verse, or picking up a pen writing a verse, or picking up a gun starting a verse, or graduating from college being the first, or selling drugs. Survival is the key, even if the means is worse. Young boy, you ain't cursed. Just change your mind. Be careful of your company, rearrange your time. We're all made from the same design. But the difference is how we think and how we grind, so I wake up with a mission. Because soon the date after the birth date and the dash won't be missing. So I want to say a thank you to my mother, because obviously she completed her mission. And I have not, so I'm still in the kitchen, cooking up a plan so my folks can eat. Some people bounced, they couldn't take the heat. I was going to leave too, couldn't take the grease. People too slick. Just have your peace. Got to make a change for my son, daughter, niece, and nephew, so I step through BS, because that's what soldiers do. So on my birthday, don't send me no balloons. Make a prayer for me. I'll be meeting my mother soon. Not right away, but a lot quicker than I would like. But either way it goes, it's a hike. My life consists of walking, running, maybe even a bike. But either way it goes, I'm going to travel with a mic and I'm going to speak while I can. I'm going to lead till I can. Even if the powers that be don't like. Because I don't dig the powers that be. Until I dug and found out the powers that be is in me. It's in a treasure chest in my chest. Another day of life, I am blessed. Thank you. I was telling Mayor Wild that this city is a very beautiful city. I knew it was a very good city when I met the mayor. He said howdy to me. First time anyone has ever said howdy. So I knew that it was a very comfortable place to be. One of the young men who is your president of my organization, of our organization, Derek, I remember when he was a little guy, smaller than he is now. An amazing poet he is, and you guys are lucky to have him. When I first moved to Cleveland, Ohio, from Brooklyn, New York, my family and I, we moved to a place called the Salvation Army. It's a shelter for women and children. And while we were living in this shelter, my mother would take us to go feed other homeless people. She was teaching me something at a very young age that many of you teach your children, that no matter how bad you think you have it, somebody has it what? Somebody has it worse than you. You want some medicine for your anger? The medicine for anger is gratefulness. Be grateful that you made it to another day. Be grateful despite what's going on in your life, and you tell your children and your family and young people and elders to be grateful. Because there's some who don't have as much as you. I know we watch MTV Cribs. They say, welcome to my home. Until you find out it's rented, by the way. Walk into my home. You open the refrigerator. Everybody, how does everybody have Gatorade? Everybody don't like Gatorade like that. Gatorade pays for the commercial. Go into the garage, see all of these cars, find out that they're leased, they're rented. And our young people are looking at the MTV Cribs and saying, whatever I need to do, this is what I want. Because we have taught our young people that the definition of success is how much material you have. And because of it, they think the more money you have, the more successful you are. When in reality, as you look around in media, you see that some of the people who are committing suicide, they don't lack any money. It's not the money that brings you happiness. It's a sense of peace within inside yourself. It's a very powerful day. Dr. King Day. And we talk about Dr. King in a very glorious way. Can I be truthful with you today? I hear a silent. You want me to lie? Okay. Can I be truthful? You mind if I'm truthful? Okay, thank you, sir. I didn't drive over here to lie to you. So, I want to be honest with you. Since you said I can be truthful, I know some of you said no lie, but it's okay. I can be truthful. We love Dr. King today. We glorify him today. He has holidays. He has monuments. And everybody writes books about how it was when Dr. King was here. But in reality, if Dr. King was here, I believe that he would be labeled a terrorist. During his time, he was labeled communist. We talk about the I Have a Dream speech. This wasn't the most powerful speech of Dr. King. Let me give you a speech that's powerful to me. And we all have our own opinions. His speech, silence was betrayal. Silence is betrayal, as Dr. King spoke out a year before his assassination against the Vietnam War. Dr. King, if he was alive today, he wouldn't have a holiday. Because it's tough being the person speaking truth to power. We want to be like Dr. King. Now, what would Dr. King say about making an president, I need to talk to you about what's going on overseas. What I'm saying to you is that if we want to live the life of Dr. King, it is not a life of comfort. It's not a life of comfort. Dr. King went to jail so many times and was fought and killed for what he believed in. And what I'm saying to you and to myself, first and foremost, that we have to begin to speak up and speak out against the thing that we know that is wrong. We have to begin to speak up for people who cannot speak for themselves. You know, anybody else from Cleveland? Anybody else from Cleveland? Yeah, Cleveland. Yeah, I got my back. Good. I know Cincinnati is here, Dayton is here, I'm president, but Cleveland is here, I'm comfortable. Cleveland is a very strange place. You know, if you and I are going to make a change, we must first understand the people we are trying to change. We must first understand the people that we are trying to uplift. You know, this is how you know when somebody's from Cleveland. This is how they look. You ready? Their hands are balled up like this. I don't care if it's 80 degrees outside. They're angry. They're upset. I call it the Cleveland face. That's someone from Cleveland. But there's 4 E's that I believe make people who they are. If you and I are going to make a change in our community, we must first understand the people that come from. You know, the first E is environment. The environment has an impact on people. I'll give you an example. Let's take a dog for my Cleveland folks, and you can express it to everyone else later. For my Cleveland folks, me, I grew up in St. Clair in Cleveland, Ohio. So we're going to take a dog from St. Clair. Now, St. Clair is like deep inner city, okay? It's like deep inner city. And we're going to take a dog from like Solon. Now, Solon is like the suburbs. It's like the suburbs. Very big homes, very big. People drive very nice cars. So we're going to take those 2 dogs. The suburbs and the inner city. Now, this dog from the suburbs is probably like a Shih Tzu. It's probably about this big. His name is Smoochie, okay? He has sweaters and shoes. Doggy insurance. If he gets lost, they got billboards. They have a doggy Amber Alert. I'm telling you. It's $20,000 if you find Smoochie. Smoochie has doggy insurance. If you take Smoochie to the dog park, he plays nicely with the rest of the dogs. You can pet Smoochie if you want. Walk up to him, you can pet him, and he looks like he's smiling at you. He's so excited. The owners, they kiss each other, you know, they have a very close relationship. He eats breakfast, lunch, dinner, brunch, late night snacks. Smoochie is happy. But then this dog from the inner city, his name is Killer, Bush, Brutus. He's a Rottweiler, a Pit Bull, a Cane Corso. They feed him hot sauce, gunpowder, hot Cheetos. You can't take him to the doggy park. He's going to fight every other dog. Can't let him go. You can see his rib cage. They keep him chained up all day. No walks for him. If you walk across the street, the dog wants to kill you. He's walking it. You pose no threat to his property, but you're walking all the way over there and he wants to jump over the fence and hurt you. Hey, listen, don't throw those bones away, man. Throw them in the back to kill him, man. Let him eat those bones. Even the animals from these places are angry. Cats, pigeons, everybody's upset. Now, if the animals are upset, what impact do you believe the environment has on people? Well, you don't have to go to Iraq or Afghanistan or Algeria to see a war. It's a war going on in inner cities and suburbs all across this country. How is it possible that Cleveland and Oakland and Chicago and Memphis and Atlanta, all across this country, every inner city looks exactly the same? This is not a black or white problem. It is a human issue. And the fact is that if you and I do not address this human issue, then believe me, it will bubble up and spill over right into your it will affect you. Believe me, it will affect you. The environment has an impact. Our young people can't even go to the next block without issues. They are in a box. So what impact do you believe it has on their mindset? The next E is exposure. Have you ever been in somebody's house and it stinks? It stinks. Maybe it's your house, if you're not saying that. No one told me about it, but not your house, I'm sure. But you walk into the house, and it stinks. I mean, it stinks. And everybody else is just relaxing. They're watching television. I mean, they're enjoying themselves. And you walk in like, I don't know it's stinking. You don't know that it stinks in here. You're like, what are you talking about? It doesn't stink. Why is it that you can smell it but they can't? Huh? Why? Because they're used to it. They're used to the smell. When you go into educational institutions all across this country and no young person finds it weird that 75 to 80% of households in the inner city are led by women, we have been desensitized. This is the problem. When no one gets upset that the drug addicts in our community or there's businesses in the community that are not led by the people of that community, someone has to be angry. You can't change something until you're angry about it. Don't tell me Dr. King wasn't angry. Yeah, he was upset. And you can't change it until you are upset about it. But they're used to it. They're used to the smell. It's okay to them. Young girls in my classroom who say to me, I don't care about my father. I can't stand him. I hate him. I don't care if he's not there. But in reality, this hatred is really just a cover for the underlying love and love that she has for her father. Exposure. So what we must do is we must expose our young people to a greater life. I mean, even in certain neighborhoods, it just seems a lot brighter. People are waving at you. I mean, some of you waved at me when I got here. I couldn't believe it. They were waving at me. People jogging, it's like in slow motion. It's like, yeah. In Cleveland, you waving at somebody, they're like, hey, what you waving at? I'm telling you, just go there. I promise you. Anybody from Cleveland know exactly what I'm talking about. The other two E's is experience and education. These are the four E's that I believe make people who they are. So in closing, I want to say that the new leadership of our country tend to be musicians. When in time were the musicians the voice of the people? I mean, over Dr. King. I mean, the musicians during the time of Dr. King, they listened to Dr. King. They were influenced by Dr. King. But now the leaders are influenced by the musicians. And you should not be influenced by them because their goal is only to make money. Let me tell you the power of music. I didn't understand this until I got into it. I want to close in a second. I didn't understand this. But music is deep. Oh, it's so deep. So there's one student I had who's angry all the time. The Cleveland face. Always angry. What's wrong, man? Nothing. What you talking about? That's my regular face. It's not your regular face. He said, it's a regular face. I said, okay, do you go to sleep listening to music? He said, yes. I said, wow. I said, what do you go to sleep listening to? He said, Waka Flocka. I said, man, that's why you're angry. If you listen to that, you're going to wake up and some of the adults are like, Waka? Who is the Waka? Is that a mother baby? Don't worry. Don't Google it. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's why you're waking up upset. That's why you're angry. Music has an impact on the emotions. You don't go to a club and hear Garth Brooks, unless you go to, a country club. You listen to music that empowers the emotions. Sometimes I listen to some Young Jeezy and I get overly aggressive. I'm driving. This older woman didn't do anything to me. And I'm looking at her like, I listen to some Young Jeezy, man. It has an impact on the emotions. I give you an example. The body follows your mind. Your mind doesn't follow your body. Your body follows your mind. Your body follows your mind. So it's more important what you feed your mind than even what you feed your body. I give you an example. Every last person in here had this dream before. Every last one of us. Me first, but everybody else in here too. Don't look around. I don't want anyone embarrassed. Just look at me. So in this dream, burgers that you know that. But that's the power of media. The biggest illusions are in media. I just came back from Sydney, Australia for my book signing. I have some books out there that you guys can to get and please support. And you'll be surprised how they view Americans in other countries. You'll be surprised how impactful the media is. So if you and I are not role models for our young people, because it's not just about getting your degree, because I don't believe that God's going to let you into heaven because you have a PhD. I don't think you get the VIP line because you got a PhD. Oh yeah, you got a PhD, you're good. Associates? Nah, you got to go to the back. I don't believe. What did you do with the gift that I gave you? What did you do? Yeah, I gave you the ability to sing. But all you sung was birthday cake? I gave you the ability to rap. And all you rapped about was bricks? Adults and bricks? Don't even think about it. I gave you a gift. I gave you the ability to dance. Were you dancing like A, B, C, D, or how were you dancing? You and I are going to have to answer for our gifts. So how does this correlate with Dr. King? Because his legacy was so powerful that even in his death, he is alive. Many of us, not in this room, but some of our cousins, well, once they die, they're dead. But what life are you and I living? Will we be dead once we die? Or will we still be alive? To someone, are you that girl that when you walk in the room, everybody's like, oh God, here she comes. We all know somebody like that. Oh God, here she comes. You know she's got something about something. She always got something to say about something. Or you that person that when you walk in, people say, I'm so glad that she's here. Who are you? What is your role on this earth? And what is your purpose? It's great that we talk about Dr. King. But Dr. King is gone. What are you going to do? What are you going to say? What actions are you going to implement for the future generations? I close with this. It's a great movie called Lion King. You ever seen Lion King? Got some Lion King fans over there. I relate. If you haven't seen Lion King, I question your Americanness. I don't know that's a word. I question it. I think Lion King is a great representation of where you and I should be as leaders. So as you know, Simba is next in line to be king. And Mufasa, he tells Simba that this is the land. Pride Rock is the land that you will be serving. Let me stop there. You want to be a leader? You better know that leadership is about serving. We all want to be kings until opposition comes, until a little pressure comes. How many people do you think started out with king but didn't end up with him? Who said, oh yeah, Dr. King, I'm with you. Those police officers who said, you know what? I got to go to school. How many people were with him and decided to turn their back when it was time to go to jail? We say that we want to be like Dr. King, and we want to make an impact like Dr. King, but are you willing to sacrifice like Dr. King? There's a lot of pressure. And the issue is that some of the people that you want to serve will end up not liking you. Dr. King had issue. That's why with the letter from Birmingham jail, he wasn't talking to KKK when he wrote that letter. He was talking to the very people who should be supporting him. But we're telling him instead, slow down, man. Slow down. Relax. You don't have to go so fast. Take your time. Dr. King said, there's a fierce urgency of now. You can't wait to make a change. Change what's happening right now. And the first change that you and I are supposed to make is change within ourselves. So Mufasa was telling Simba that whether it is the elephant or the anthill, you must serve everybody. I said whether it is the elephants or it's the anthill, whether it's President Barack Obama or the drug addict from Superior, street in Cleveland, Ohio, you must serve everybody. Whether it's Cincinnati or Dayton, Toledo times, you change. You learn more, you change. You can't be an oak tree. You'll get uprooted. Be a palm tree, man. Flow with the wind. Don't be so stern. This is what it is. This is how it's going to be. You'll never get married. Okay? Got to flow with the wind. Hey, you're right, baby. Yeah, you're right. You got it. Yeah. You have a right to exist. Despite what you believe, you have a right. Because you exist. And if we truly love God, like many of us said, how do we love God but we hate his creation? Even if it's a dog, even that dog has a right to exist. Some of us treat dogs better than we treat people. You have a right to exist, despite what you believe. You don't have to believe what I believe. That's fine. But I can learn from you and you can learn from me. And the power of the civil rights movement, it hit a lot of different people by the eyes. They seem different. But in reality, they had the same hearts. So Mufasa was telling Simba that this is the land that you want to serve. But then there was an individual who hated Simba more than anybody else. That was Scar. This is an example for you and I that some of your greatest opposition will come from your own families. Some of your greatest opposition will come from people who are supposed to uplift you, who are supposed to love you, that you think. They look like you, they're from your community, or blah, blah, blah. But some of your greatest opposition will come from those people. Oh, man. The children of Israel, they didn't like Moses. They felt some way about Moses. The people, the very people that you're trying to save will be the people that will try to hurt you. We talk about the assassination of Dr. King, but the first time he got stabbed was a black woman. Don't think that the people who look like you is your enemy, or the people who look like you is your friend, and the people who don't look like you is your enemy. Do you have a common belief? Because that's what brings people together. So as you know the story, because of hatred and jealousy and envy, you better be careful of people who are envious of you. You better be careful of your circle of friends, because if they're envious of you, they will kill you. More importantly, they will try to assassinate your character. Before Dr. King was killed, his character was assassinated. So Dr. King, Simba, he left. As you know the story. So Simba leaves. The music is like the violins. You start crying. Simba, why you gotta go, you know? Music is deep. Like, music is powerful, man, I swear. You start crying. Simba, no. So then Simba meets these two individuals by the name of Timon and Pumbaa. Now, you may say Timon and Pumbaa was his friends. I'm going to tell you right now, they weren't his friends at first. This is what I believe. Because they understood the law of the survival of the fittest. They're like, listen, Pumbaa, listen. We the only meat around here, man. If we don't trick this lion to believe he's something that he's not, we dead meat. Once he realizes his potential, we done. So they got this lion eating bugs, swinging from vines, talking about Hakuna Matata, swimming. No lion, this is not what lions do. Go to Apple Pie, it doesn't happen. But they tricked him to believe that he's something that he wasn't. So now, when I go into classrooms, some young girls say, I would rather be a 5-star chick than a queen. Where young girls don't look up to the Red Sky King, they look up to Nicki Minaj. It's a problem. There ain't nothing cool about being fake. Here's this young girl, this chocolate girl with a purple wig. Girl, what are you doing? She has chocolate skin and she has a purple wig on. What are you doing? Nicki Minaj said, I'm only playing a role. But our young people are taking their illusions and making it reality. And the reality of what these rappers are talking about is only death and jail. That's the reality of it. So as you know the story, this next part really makes me happy and makes me feel some type of way because, as I told you, my mother passed away 3 years ago from breast cancer. She was my bestest friend. If you see anything good in me, it's from her. Anything bad, I picked it up along the way. It was me. Anything good, it came from her. This next individual came to Simba by the name of Rafiki and said, I know your father. You knew my father? My father dead. Your collection, I know your father. He said, follow me. And he run. And he tells Simba, look in the lake. Simba looks, and he sees himself. He says, look deeper. And he sees his father. Dr. King is not dead. You're just not listening. These great ancestors of ours, the JFKs and the Mother Teresas, they are not dead, but we have stopped listening. Look deeper. And you will see them in you. We are so inundated by what this music is saying, and what this is saying, and what's that saying, and what's on World Star Hip Hop, and you're going to jail, yeah, get knocked out. We're so we're so inundated by the illusions that we don't see the reality. He said, look deeper. He said, your father never left. You just stopped listening. Dr. King is in each and every one of us. And if you take the time to listen, you will see him. You will hear him. For those who have lost their mothers and fathers, their grandmothers and grandfathers, brothers and sisters, they're not grown. Just take the time to listen. So I'll close with this and say to each and every one of you that number one, you and I must first be grateful for life. Despite what's going on, you are here for a reason. You came here for a reason today. Some of you could have been somewhere else. The food was good, but you could have been somewhere else. But you are here for a reason and for a purpose. I urge you to first make that change and commitment within you. Next, for my college students, I want you to look and find where you're from, or even in this area. Some high school students to talk to. I'm sure maybe you can do that. To reach out to them and be their role models. Because if you don't, Chief Keith will. You don't have no one. Yeah, he will. He'll be their role model. And then they'll blame you that they didn't see you often enough. I urge you to give back now. You don't have to be a millionaire to give back. Give back right now. Give $1, a quarter, a smile. Some of you don't even smile. You don't even smile is charity too. Sometimes you have a bad day and somebody comes, I'm not saying walk around like, hey, you know what I'm saying? They think you're crazy, but smile at people when you meet them. Smile. This is charity. You never know that smile can make a person not want to commit suicide. You never know. You never know what your words would do for people. You never know what your smiles would do for people. Your laughter. You never know. Don't think that you have to be this iconic figure of Dr. King. You are an icon to somebody. To somebody. Somebody looks up to you. Somebody loves you. Who are you going to be willing to go to jail for? Because Dr. King was willing to die for us. Are you willing to die for those who are coming after you? Or did you just come get your degree and leave debt-free? Who are you living for? I urge you to live for someone else. I urge you to take the time to uplift someone else. If you can just do this, one thing, I promise you it will have a domino effect. And it will begin to change the world. Even if that world just being that one little girl or that one little boy. So Dr. King doesn't have to be the only one. If they have to skip past our generation and talk about Dr. King, that's a problem. They should be able to talk about us. If there were voices in the 2000s that spoke out against the nonsense on the radio, in the media, against the issues of our community. If there were young people who were at Ohio University who didn't stick around, but they went back to their communities, because the true definition of success, I believe, is Harriet Tubman. Because she went to freedom and she didn't stay there. But she came back and brought others with her. Who are you going to bring to freedom? That's the question that you and I must ask ourselves. I close with this. Right. On your way to the top, all you hear is critics. But once you get there, all you hear is crickets. And on my diary, now they clapping, saying to me, Basheer, I always do that this would happen. No time to waste. My team, they needed a captain. So while y'all making excuses, we was making it happen. But please hold your applause. They wasn't focused on our strengths, they was focused on our flaws. They just wanted me to fall. But now from the top, they seem so small. And now I can finally see. It wasn't about defeating them. I had to beat me. Some people, they didn't like my decision. But eagles ain't meant to fly with the pigeons. The whales don't swim with the fish. To get to a championship takes more than a wish. It takes more than a gift. I can't explain it all right now. It's too long of a list. But the majority told me that I couldn't. They said, Basheer, you're from the clear. They told me that I couldn't. The fruit is on the shaky ground. They told me that I shouldn't. But I did what I did because it was in my soul. Life is a play. You got to know your role. You want to be a champion? Is that your goal? Well, you better know it's going to be a rocky road. The words you're going to hear more than anything is no. They said, Basheer, you way too vocal. I said, nah, the problem is y'all way too local. God didn't make this earth for me not to be global, so I plant seeds. I don't believe in a vasectomy. Life is a game. And if I was a referee, their hate is foul. It deserves a tech to me. Game on the line. I have to hit this free throw. Silence the crowd. Find my inner peace, bro. At the same time, find my inner beast, bro. You can't be a champion and please the people. I said you can't be a champion and please the people. You can't be Dr. King and live in his legacy and worry about what everybody else thinks about you, because you'll never be successful like that. Once again, thank Ohio University. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. And I pray if I said anything that was wrong, that was false, please forgive me. If I said anything that hurt, that was truthful, hell, we all got